This video is a case study on music collaborations, as well as a conversation with McCarty and Laura from the band The First, and how they used a collab track to grow their monthly listeners on Spotify from 1,500 to over 50,000. So we're going to get into all the details and show you exactly how it worked. Bruce Lee is the track we're talking about. It came out late June, what was it, like June 28th or something like that?
Yeah, not quite 2 weeks ago yet.
Right. It's 85,000 streams. Here's the song, Bruce Lee. Now, notice the primary artist.
Right.
So what we're going to do is make Kellen Quinn and Bronny primary artists on the track. So the track actually has three primary artists. The first, Kellen Quinn as a solo artist, and he has 70,000 followers on Spotify. And Bronny, who I think has like another 10,000 followers on Spotify. So those three algorithms are going to be working on release date. It's minute one when the song hits Spotify. You're going to have the release radars for The First, Kellen Quinn, and Bronny all working together to go find new fans. First day, 1,761. Next day, another 1,700. And then boom, the third day, it shot up to 23,800. For any of you out there thinking, oh, well, McCarty has, worked in Nashville. McCarty is a songwriter who worked under James Paul Wisner. I hear another thing. Oh, well, those artists won't let me, they won't collaborate with me. Who am I? Well, who was McCarty? Because it's not like he was, Mr. Spotify crushing it. He didn't have a lot of monthly listeners at the time. And just right before he had 1,700, streams in a day, right before that, he had 30 to 50 to 70, 80 streams a day. I just wanted to say that because a lot of you are thinking, oh, this can't happen to me, but it can. You just have to be determined, be tenacious, be confident in your music. So sit back, watch the entire discussion. Don't miss some things towards the end. And while you're at it, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps us reach more people. Hey, McCarty. Hey, Laura.
Hey,
Thanks
Todd.
for joining me today. Today, I wanted to build this case study involving The First and their song Bruce Lee, which features Kellen Quinn from Sleeping with Sirens and a female artist named Bronny from the UK. We're going to talk to you about what happened, and tell the story of how that song, I think it's did about 70,000 streams in the first 7 days. Without any official playlists, just algorithm play and good promotion on the first part. And it's an exciting story. I can't wait to get into it. But before that, I just thought we should tell you, how I met The First and McCarty and Laura, and sort of where we met along the way before all this happened. So as you know, I run Band Builder Academy that teaches artists, musicians, record labels, music promotion, utilizing my, 25-year career in the music industry, working with Sony Music and running an independent label called Fearless Records for a long time. And you joined, I think it was, did you say, when was it? Like summer of 2021?
Yeah, it was summer of 2021. And I think we had released about 12 singles on Spotify.
And so you released a bunch of singles through there. But up until this song sort of came out a week and a half ago, you were sort of cruising along between 1,000 and 2,000 monthly listeners. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think the peak before then was maybe 9,000 or 10,000 monthly.
Right.
And
On
that
some
was
big song launches, right?
Yeah.
And I did notice over the past year that each track campaign did seem to be growing. It was getting bigger each time, and that. But had you had any official Spotify playlists in this time?
So there was kind of a weird mishap with a song of ours called Pop Punk Song, where it was added retroactively. Like the song had been out for, I want to say 13 or 14 months, and they quietly added it for a whopping 5 spins, which I was excited about because, it felt so unattainable at that point.
And then when you joined Band Builder, where were you kind of at mindset wise, fan building wise? What were your goals going into it?
I was literally stuck in the mud in the most Nashville story possible. I was driving the car and it was stuck in the mud, and I came in the house. I stormed in. I'm like, that's it. We're signing up for Band Builder. We got to get out of this, literally, figuratively, metaphorically. Um, a lot had happened like before that. We had a number one song on FM radio. We had the Wikipedia was helping. We had, the alternative press and the American Songwriter and like all this stuff, but nothing was really moving the needle as far as like streaming goes and big collaborations and enter Todd.
Cool. And you also had a background in songwriting and producing, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've been at it for a long time. James Paul Wisner was a mentor of mine for many years. Very lucky to learn a lot of
He's a
what I
great
knew.
mixer. If anybody doesn't
He's
know
great.
him, I mean, he's mixed some of the songs, your favorite songs. He's
Yeah,
amazing.
Paramore, Dashboard Confessional, and yeah, the list goes on and Under Oath. So he taught me a lot of what I knew. And then I was a songwriter on Music Row in Nashville, which basically means you show up in the morning and you write a song every day for an artist that isn't yourself. And I have mixed reviews on that. It helped develop my songwriting skills so that when it came time to be an artist, we knew what we wanted, what we didn't want. Yeah, but we needed that kind of guidance as far as the new music business went. I can't thank you enough for that.
And I just love your band, by the way.
Thank
Like,
you, man.
I've
Thank you so
always
much.
liked the music. Tarantino, I think, was the one that grabbed me
Yes.
immediately. And then I've just liked every song since, and it seems like
Thank
they
you.
keep getting better. So your songwriting chops definitely shine through.
Thank you.
The
Thank
other
you.
thing for those that don't know, McCarty is the songwriter, and you've been going by the first,
That's
but
right.
Laura is the first lady.
That's right. That's right. We'd be nowhere without her too. And directs the videos and does pretty much everything behind the scenes, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, and also we're not going to get too much into it on this call, but we have had a really cool win together just a month or two ago before this happened with the Kellen Quinn Bruce Lee track. You guys created an amazing kind of trailer video that tells the story. It's only a minute and a half, so it's not some big long documentary, but it's really a powerful piece. You guys did a great job putting it together. Laura, as I understand, you do a lot of the video editing. Is that right?
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah,
So you've done what, 10, maybe 10 videos
10
now?
now. Yeah,
Wow.
and then those chops as well.
Well, I'm telling everybody on the call that I sort of helped put this script together,
You did.
basic script, and
You
then
did.
I sent it over your way. And like, I was expecting it to take like 3-4 weeks, a month to get this video together, and I got it like a couple days later, and it was blown away. Literally, the first time I saw the video, I didn't have any changes. It was perfect. And then I found out Laura edited it, and so you guys did an awesome job. And then, hey, if you need a good video editor or somebody to do it, and I would definitely recommend Laura on that,
Thank you.
because you did it so quick, and you nailed it on the first one.
And we had a great script from
Yeah.
the man himself, Todd McCarty.
Yeah,
Very
I thought it was
cool.
pretty cool. You got a good story. We didn't really start talking more until about 9 months ago or so. At some point, you decided you want to do coaching, right?
Yes, yeah, and it's also worth mentioning that you really helped get me out of a pinch I was in with a publisher. There was a lot of negotiations going on, and there was a lot of debate over the master rights and things like that. And you really saved the day
Oh,
on that one.
cool.
So yeah, thanks.
I think from my end, I was sort of like seeing, okay, great song. The branding is really good. I thought the branding could be improved a little bit,
Yep.
honestly, and we talked about that, and you have made those improvements. But I was like, something's not going right here. I feel like I need to be a little bit closer. So I reached out to you and was like,
Yep.
let's get a little bit closer. I think maybe a 3-month regimen of coaching would be the antidote here. And that was about almost 3 months ago.
It
And
was.
here we are. We had that trailer video win, and now we've got this collaboration track win, and we're sort of off to rolling. So I thought, man, this is going really well. For those of you who don't know, I also did some coaching with Catch Your Breath and Loveless and many other artists that have gone on from Band Builder to be success stories. And I feel like you guys are on the verge of doing that. So
Thank you.
I thought, let's stop and do a case study and document how some of this worked. From there, we started doing coaching. We got that indoctrination video. I think it's got like 50,000 views on YouTube now.
Yeah.
And people are getting to know the band. The branding is really great right now with this like bright blue. when I started the coaching with you, you came to me with two new songs that I was really excited about, and they both had features.
Yes.
Um, Not just features, but the idea was that we were going to use this two primary artist trick where
Mhm.
when you release as just you're the artist and it's just featuring Kellen from Sleeping with Sirens, that feature doesn't necessarily map his artist profile to your artist profile in the Spotify algorithm.
Right.
So what we're going to do is make Kellen Quinn and Bronny primary artists on the track. So the track actually has three primary artists. So those three algorithms are going to be working on release date. This minute one when the song hits Spotify. You're going to have the release radars for the first, Kellen Quinn and Bronny all working together to go find new fans. Not just the release radar, but all the recommendation features. And there's probably 15 to 20 different ways Spotify will recommend your track to users. And it doesn't have to be users that just follow you. Some of it's just that listen to you in the last 30, 90 days, or they've listened to a track in the past, or they've saved one of your tracks. But anyway, so that was the plan. Do you want me to tell the
Yeah,
story
please
here? Am
do.
I
Yeah.
missing any details?
No, no, you're covering them all, buddy.
Okay, so I think I should share my screen to give everybody a visual on
Yeah, let's
this.
jump in there.
Okay, so here we are in the first Spotify profile. Bruce Lee is the track we're talking about. It came out late June, like what was it, like June 28th or something like that?
Yeah, not quite 2 weeks ago yet.
Right. It's 85,000 streams. Here's the song, Bruce Lee. Now, notice the primary artist. This is what I was talking about. The first, Kellen Quinn and Bronny. It came out, and I want to show you in the Spotify analytics how it went. But before I do that, I just did want to show you the first, if you look, 2,700 followers, probably had closer to 2,500 followers at the time the track launched, because I know you've got a lot of followers from this too. And then if we look, Kellen Quinn, he was the singer in Sleeping with Sirens. He has 900,000 monthly listeners. But more importantly for the algorithm, he has 70,000 followers. Now, Bronny, if we look here, 60,000 monthly listeners and 16,000 followers. So we've got about 90,000 followers all together that are going to get the release radar. Okay, and then for those that don't know what release radar is, every week it changes. Everybody that's a Spotify user has one. You can find it in your playlist section on the left, and it gives you new ones every day. So, or every Friday on release day. So it would show up in here. It would show up anybody that follows Kellen Quinn, Bronny, or the first. It would show up in here, or not even if they follow them, but sometimes just if they've saved a song, like hearted a song before, or listened to them recently, it will come up in here. Okay, so now that you know how that works, when you set up in distribution, it's important you set up as primary artists, not as features. Sometimes it's going to let you set up more than one primary artist. Sometimes there might be a conflict with it. It could be that it accepts your distribution submission, like it goes off to the works, but then it comes back a couple days later and rejects it.
Yep.
And at that point, I can't really advise everybody. There's so many different things that could be a variable there, but just know that this might not always go smooth, but in the best case scenario, you're going to make it happen. Right. So now getting over to the Spotify analytics, this is the Spotify for Artists portal, and you can see the most recent track. Before we get into, I mean, you can see some great data here. 85,000 streams in 12 days, 55,000 listeners. It's had 4,700 saves. I guess let's just take a quick look here. It's just fantastic data. You can see there was 4,300 playlist ads, 4,700 saves. And if you look at the history, this is on streams. First day, 1,761. Next day, another 1,700. And then boom, the third day, it shot up to 23,800. Notice they did release on a Wednesday. That's not typical. I'm not saying you need to do that. I'm not sure that would make a difference. But what is interesting is release radar happens on Fridays. So it was interesting to see that the build up to that point, Release Radar kicked in on that day in 23,000 streams.
Yep.
The next day was 9,999. And then, kind of leveled off at 7,000 a day for like a week. And then it looks like the Release Radar algorithm changed over because new records come out on this day, and then it drops down. That's nothing to fear. That's nothing to worry about. The algorithm is not a short-lived thing. It's an ongoing thing that can last months and months and months. So we've not seen the end of the algorithmic play on this track. Something else interesting to look at here would be playlists. And you can see that most of the streams came from Release Radar. It did, even though Sleeping with Sirens was not a primary artist, they're just a feature, it did map them to the This Is Sleeping with Sirens, This Is playlist, which is really powerful and cool. Your Daily Mix kicked in for it. Radio kicked in. These are algorithmic playlists from Spotify, if you're not familiar. And then let's not give Kellen Quinn and Spotify algorithmic play all the credit, because the first, Mackay and Laura, you guys worked very hard, I know, building up your own database of independent curators and emailing them. You also used Submit Hub and Muso Soup, which had, pretty good results.
They did.
On that, right?
Yeah, and I think they had great results. It was my first time using Muso Soup, and I actually really liked it. They sometimes come back with proposals where they want different money and things like that, but even if you choose the free option, which in this case we chose the free option, you still get added to a Spotify playlist in most cases. So I would say, don't be scared off by that. If they come back and they want, $5 to write an article, you usually can just say, no, we'll take the free alternative, and it's usually Spotify playlist. So that was kind of cool. I'd recommend.
Right. So it wasn't, there was also, some press release. There was video promotion through social media and teasers. And there was a lot of extra work that went into this. It's not just a simple case of, Release Radar, but actually, I mean, if the lion's share is that, so that's why we're here doing this case study.
That's right.
How important it is. But I did want to credit you on a nice campaign rollout. You did a lot of great things. You had great branding and great social media as well.
It's probably worth noting we got probably 200 or 300 playlist ads before Release Radar kicked in those 2 or 3 days. So, I mean, I guess
that is worth noting. I mean, it's not easy to get 5 playlist ads. It's not easy to get 10. So that is a credit to you guys to show how much hustle you did in reaching it, doing direct outreach, Muso Soup, Submit Hub. You didn't leave it to sort of luck or chance, right?
No, you can't.
Anymore.
And you were rewarded, because Release Radar probably kicked in a lot better and a lot harder, because in the first 48 hours, there was so much playlist activity. There was so much traffic happening organically. And probably I'd have to say some reaction to it as well. So
I think so. And it's probably also worth noting we did run some very low-key Spotify ads. We ran one in the US and we ran one in the UK. And I mean, at the time of this filming, we probably only spent maybe $50 on each of those ads. So it wasn't a tremendous ad spend, but we were seeing a lot of click-throughs.
So yeah, just a great overall job on the promotion side. It was a nice even effort as well. Don't think you can just do this trick with any song, with any level of promotion, and get the same results. We should also stop and give credit to the great songwriting in the song itself, because songs will not do well and get this type of streaming if they don't sound great, if they're not catchy. You're not going to have these results. So it starts with the music before you get to any of this. I wanted to show you, this is the last 28 days. So for any of you out there thinking, oh, well, Mackay has, worked in Nashville. Mackay is a songwriter who worked under James Paul Wisner. Of course he's got it. Or he's got these great connections to Kellen Quinn or Eagles of Death Metal. By the way, I did not contact Kellen Quinn or his agents. That was Mackay. I didn't connect Eagles Death Metal. This was his hustle, hard work, determination that did this. And any one of you can do it. At the time, I hear another thing. oh, well, those artists won't let me, they won't collaborate with me. Who am I? Well, who was Mackay? Because it's not like he was, Mr. Spotify crushing it. He's had a few, the story. I mean, he didn't have a lot of monthly listeners at the time. And just right before he had 1,700, streams in a day, right before that, he had 30 to 50 to 70, 80 streams a day. And he was hustling. He was working. It wasn't like he was, sitting back waiting for things to happen. But I just wanted to say that because a lot of you are thinking, oh, this can't happen to me, but it can. You just have to be determined, be tenacious, be confident in your music, and also be a good communicator. Be nice to people. Be fair when you talk to Kellen or Bronny or their team, their management, whoever it is. Just be very nice, and don't sell yourself short. If be confident in your music and your abilities, and let them know that you've got a plan. Anything else to add to that, Mackay or Laura?
I would say try and write a few hundred songs, because, and I know that sounds probably really tedious, and it is. I think if you do it for the love of doing it, that helps a lot. But I can't tell you how many songs I thought, oh my God, this is going to be a hit. A great example is Scary Movie, which we released this year in January. I thought, this is just the greatest song we've done. And it's to this day racked up 3,000 streams. And, it's easy to get discouraged. We all think about giving up. If you don't know my story, my right ear was cut off and sewn on twice. I thought about giving up countless times. You just can't stop. And just put in the outside time. I found like a lot of getting in touch with these artists, people just weren't spending the time to try and, find out how to get in touch with them and take the time to build a little bit of a relationship and hear what their needs and wants and desires were. And I think framing things
don't
in
go
a
for
context.
Don't go for the short kill, and then be disappointed
Right.
if it's a kill, right? Like, play the long game,
Right.
Be patient, develop a friendship.
Yes. Patience is huge.
And then if you look at the followers, same thing. I mean, it's just a great story. If we look at the life over since 2015, but you can see, I mean, there's a lot of work that went into the point of this. Time, effort, trying, like you said, putting out a lot of songs, and get good at your craft. The first 5 songs, first 10 songs, first 50 songs you write aren't going to be as good as song number 97, song number 98, 99, 100, so you really do have to create great music, great content.
And just keep going. Just don't stop.
We can make some predictions about where it's going to go in the future. And I would say, of course, Release Radar is short-lived. It's a one to 4 week algorithm. I don't really see it go past 4 weeks. We will continue to see this number grow over the next 3 or 4 weeks, but then it will, what will happen is Your Daily Mix, which is another Spotify algorithmic playlist, radio, these two will start to increase based on the performance of the song and the trajectory of it. And you might also see other playlists, Discover Weekly could kick in, and then also, other recommendation playlists. So we're hoping that this song, Bruce Lee, has some legs. And there's a lot of other factors. It doesn't stop here at Release Radar. There's so much more that could happen.
Something I forgot to add earlier is, when you're reaching out to these artists, be sure you're thinking about what you can do for them. It's tempting for a lot of people to say, like, hey, can you get on my track? And, they're busy. Just letting them know that there's something in it for them and that you're going to do a good job promoting it. I think that seems to go a long way.
And I thought that was big for Bronny to get on. She heard, Kellen was on it and instantly wanted to be a part of it then. So
That's a good point. It's like leveraging. It's like you get one thing, you need to leverage it to something else, and then you need to leverage that into something else. It's kind of odd. I didn't sleep one night, and I was kind of groggy, and in the morning I was up at an hour I wouldn't normally have been up, and I had just happened to catch Kellen's email, and I'm like, well, let's see what he'll say. And emailed him, and it was very quick. So I would say, be ready if one of these artists writes back and says, great, send me the song. I got time right now today. And that was what happened. I sent it to him. It was like 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. He said, I got time for one song right now. And luckily Bruce Lee was ready to go. I had the instrumental and I had the acapella, so he could kind of play with them. And later that day he was on the track. And it was
Amazing.
about a month later that we talked to Bronny, because we said, Kellen by himself, he's a legend. It's an honor to have him. But that wasn't going to move the needle just by itself. We're like, we need another artist. And this is actually an interesting story. Bronny I found because I got a couple plays from one of her playlists. So we said, who is this artist? We checked around. Her music was awesome. And she brought a lot to the track too. It's worth not underestimating, having a secondary or third artist.
Yeah, what you were saying about, let them know what you're doing with promotion. Sort of name drop, or what producer you worked with. If your producer produced some big artists that they might know, let them know that. And then let them know that you've got a promotion plan. You've got a music video plan. That's something we need to talk about in a minute too. But
Yes.
You got a music video plan. You've got a short form video, TikTok Reels plan, or what you're doing. Maybe some of the advertising that you've got a budget for this. Ask them what their priorities are, and if there's any way you can help them. Like, what are your priorities over the next 3 months? I certainly want to help you as well if there's anything that you can do.
One more thing I want to throw in there, if it's okay, is a lot of us musicians tend to have a lot of gear laying around. Take an honest assessment of your gear, and if there's something you haven't used in a couple of months, sell it. And that was a big part of funding just this whole project, was selling all the pedals, and even one of my favorite amp heads. I had this Matchless that I loved using. What's more, take an assessment of your priorities. I mean, do you want to have a hit track, or do you want to have a bunch of gear?
So yeah, you don't want to bombard them with a super long email either with all your promotion plan up front. Remember, you're building a friendship first. And I wouldn't underestimate that musician to musician relationship, because it's a special one. You're both artists, creatives. Kellen at one point was in your shoes as a young developing artist.
Yeah.
So he can totally relate. And he also knows from experience that he may have ignored a similar email and then 7 months later realizes, oh my God, that person is huge now. And
Absolutely,
he should have responded to that email, or he should have done that collaboration.
And again, I think it's important having that great song, because his response was, "This is dope. I want to be on it." So I thought it was. Yeah. I thought that's important too.
Thank you, Laura, for that. As much as we want to talk about the results, and as much as we want to talk about the promotion and all of that stuff, if you don't have a good song, it's game over.
Yeah, and even a good song to you, it's, you just never know what your audience or what people, you just don't know. Because like I said, there's been plenty of songs where I went, oh my God, this is the one, and it wasn't. So, and that's okay. That's just part of the process.
Yeah, we don't get to be the judge ultimately if our song is good or not. Once we put it out,
you said something in Band Builder that has stuck with me. You said we don't get to choose what our most popular song is.
It's true. The fans do. The wide world does.
Yeah.
Now, you can have your strong opinions, and
right.
you don't need to be swayed by the masses, but ultimately, we don't get to determine that. It's true. Thank you so much.
One more thing?
Yeah,
actually,
sure.
While we're here,
we'll
I just want to say, don't be afraid to go outside your comfort zone, because recording this song, I was so uncomfortable recording it. It just felt so crazy, unlike anything I'd done. And when I came into the control room, and she'll tell you, I started laughing when I heard my vocal takes back. I started dying laughing. And
I did not think it was a good thing. But...
and no, it's exactly what I'm hearing in my head. And I played it for her, and I said, it's okay to laugh when you hear it, So that's, I was more outside of my comfort zone on this song than any of I think this is our 18th or 19th song now. So far outside my comfort zone. So just experiment and don't be afraid to
get comfortable with the uncomfortable.
There it is.
You didn't know Kellen and Bronny were going to be on this before you sat down to record the song, right? You recorded this first.
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't uncomfortable and out of your comfort zone because you had this pressure of having Kellen and Bronny on. It was just that it was an oddball song for you, something you hadn't pushed these boundaries before.
Yep.
We need to talk about the video, because I was a little bit worried, how are we going to do a video for this when Bronny lives in the UK? You guys are in Nashville. Kellen is who knows where.
All over the world.
Yeah. And it's how are we going to do this? And then I was a little bit worried that some of the vocal parts were stepping and, it didn't matter in the end. And then tell the story of the video, because that's pretty interesting too. The video is going to be dropping, I don't know, maybe a week or two from now. And that's going to give second life to the song and the project, because Kellen and Bronny are in the video, right?
Yep, they are. So again, kind of outside of our comfort zone. This was the first video we had that didn't have a storyline. So it was non-linear. And we thought, let's try something out of our genre. Like let's try almost like a 90s, 2000s hip hop video idea. And so we did green screen. And it was relatively inexpensive to make. And it was something that each artist, all over the world, could participate in. And be very patient, because it took a while with everybody's schedules. Kellen was on tour for a long time.
And I'm pretty sure Bronny was in Portugal.
Yeah.
When she was filming it, so it was kind of happened all over the world.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's definitely just important to have that open mind, because again, we did not have a very clear concept of what we wanted, but when I first heard the song, I thought it was instantly perfect, and then Kellen added in, and I was like, "What is this? This is not the song. This is weird." But then it made the song. So, and then along with the video and kind of just the collaboration really coming together. So keeping that open mind was really important.
Thanks so much. Anybody watching this is so grateful. I can tell you, my band builder members are grateful for you doing this case study with me.
Thank you.
Just congratulations again on the
Thank you.
success.
And thank you everybody out there watching. Like, really don't give up. I mean, I can't stress enough. Like, we were really discouraged. Like I said, we were almost 20 songs in. Just keep going.
You can do it.
Yeah, you can do it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, look forward to our next coaching sessions and the video coming out.
Thank you for all your help, Todd.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no. I hope you guys can make it over here to Japan, or I make it back to Nashville, and we hang out one day.
Yes,
so.
We will.
Drinks on us.
Likewise. All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.